So Elon Musk's bid to buy Twitter is back on. $44 billion he has offered to buy the social media site, and they have accepted. Now, there's been wobbles before, concerns about fake accounts and things like that. But assuming it goes through, Tom, this is potentially some okay, goodish news.
Yeah, in a guarded way. I mean, I don't think anyone should expect Elon Musk to be the sort of saviour of online freedom.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the stink that he's caused by even trying to do this has flushed out the problem as far as all these people at Twitter saying they're going to resign en masse and horrified at the prospect of it becoming basically as free as it was in about 2015, which seems to be about the extent of his ambitions, really. Get Trump back on there, calm down on the censorship, that kind of thing. The pearl clutching that has unleashed has been quite instructive, and I think even just sort of mixing things up in that space could be potentially quite interesting. I don't want the state of online freedom to just rest on which billionaire owns what, but at the same time, I think in that limited sense, it's something to celebrate. Definitely,
I think you're right. Flushing the people out was a a good thing in and of itself. To hear people say that they think free speech or even just slightly more free speech means the arrival of white supremacy, for instance, as many people said, is just, shows you where we're at least.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do think going forward, we perhaps do need to seriously explore more democratic ways of running many of these companies, just because, as Elon Musk has admitted himself, they do often and increasingly function as a form of public square. I mean, I think it's open for discussion, debate, what that looks like going forward. But if we are going to have one billionaire running it, we would, I assume, prefer to have somebody that is more on the free speech side. And I think it is really telling, the reaction that we've received to the fact that someone is just making basic free speech arguments. And it really does reveal that many of the more conservative concerns that it was biased or is biased against them in terms of the way that different voices are censored and so on. And many people are seemingly fearful of the fact that, their views won't be prioritized in the public debate unfairly. I mean, the only thing I would have sympathy with, I mean, I do remember a few years ago, looking at figures like Hillary Clinton's mentions, and it was all a bunch of QAnon people basically accusing her of being a Satanist. I mean, I can imagine.
Those are the 3 days.
Yeah. I do think that is might be a bit irritating for their part. But I mean, he does talk about the fact that he wants to get rid of bots and all these kinds of things. So maybe that's something that I have a bit of sympathy for those people. But overall, I think it's a good thing if we want to have more free speech.
I think that's one thing which has happened time and again, which is people, where they could just focus on maybe improving the user experience. It becomes a conversation about who should we ban in all circumstances
Exactly.
and all the rest of it. It's like a lot of the kind of trolling campaigns that happen, just looking at them, and they're weird, always got 8 digits or whatever it handles. That these are not real people most of the time. That's why you should just block them and ignore them in most cases, regardless of the sort of bile that they're spewing. So, but that has been a big part of the problem, I think, is that people, so just because of the way in which Twitter's set up, it's very easy to be confronted by that kind of stuff. And it's very easy to be affronted by that kind of stuff, and then demand that as a consequence, everyone you dislike should be kicked off of it and the world is going to hell in a handcart as a consequence. So, it's not to say that things shouldn't be improved and all the rest of it, but it can't be in this situation in which a handful of people, particularly because a lot of these companies act in concert. That's why the Musk thing is kind of interesting, because it would disrupt that to a certain extent.
Yeah, usually if you're banned on Twitter, you're banned on Facebook.
Yeah, that
and
kind
more
of
recently banned
happens
on bloody PayPal too.
Exactly, and that would disrupt that, which would be quite interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be very interesting to see how far their kind of libertarian defense goes, because they were all saying, "Oh, well, you can just make your own social media company or whatever." But now that Elon Musk is taking over, surely they should be happy about it's following the same logic.
It's the left-wing defense of property rights that always comes out whenever you say there should be more free speech on social media.
I mean, it does expose that the fragility of that kind of devil's bargain that the left made with these billionaires. What if one you don't like takes over? And this is what's happened.